America holds her charms as Dunkin's donuts, sprinkled with speckled seductions. Unbottled perfumes of spring hold nostrils at spot point. America does not hold me, with all her enchantments, wondrous, willful woman.
An expression of patriotism, hinged on his undying love and belief in Nigeria, even when the allure of a seemingly better life in America came calling. An act which propelled him to discover what he is today, with a name that is reckoned within the literary world. A poet, author, philosopher, reader, and a public servant, Amunadi characterizes his emotions in his poetic writings with a strong conviction that poetry is divine and cannot be wholly interpreted.
Because poetry is a seamless spirit interpreting the voice of God. For me, poetry, therefore, is something that one approaches with a certain reverence and respect. That is why all my books, when you look at them, they are all black. The reason they are all black is because, for me, black is the first and primary essence of being. Black is what is profound and also basic. What you look at and you cannot find the end of. And that is also very spiritual. So for me, poetry is spiritual.
His journey to self-discovery of his innate abilities in writings was discovered in the 80s. Since then, he has anchored his poetic renditions on life, love, and events.
I say something like, I find love in everything. I write them all into poems. You are in all of them, they are words and spirit. People say my poems are lovely. People say nothing is more beautiful than their lines of jasper, full of aspects, sweeter than their words of dates. Sadly, happily, for I love like olives, only one seed lives in the heart. They have not seen you, beloved, you who are more beautiful than poems. Their words, lines, curves, and nuggets, whose lips of fire purify them into gold bars, more beautiful than fountains.
Author of 6 collections of poetry, with his first book in 2002 titled The Fire Within, which won him the Association of Nigerian Authors Poetry Prize.
He was shortlisted for the Nigerian Prize for Literature, and he won the Africa Poetry Prize in 2014. And then after that, I was published in 2016 2 books, A River's Journey, and then A Field of Echoes, from which I read the first poem I read to you. The 6th one is something of an anthology of my sad poems I began to compile when I lost my father. And so the title is Ihe Juru Ọnụ.
Taking that step of faith to publish his works took the poet more than 10 years. His belief was to be better armed and prepared before taking the plunge. Today, that decision to find his voice is paying off. Beyond this, he is an avid reader with a firm advocate of tenacity and humility, qualities according to him that make one a good poet.
And to do that, you need to improve your lexicon, you need to improve your vocabulary, you need to improve your understanding of things, both that which is seen and which is not seen, which is known and which is imagined, which we understand and which is merely philosophical, which is declarative and which is profound. Because when you find out, you discover that you can write poetry almost about anything and approach it with that understanding.
A mass communication graduate of the University of Nsukka and a resident poet at the Port Harcourt Literary Society, Amunadi could easily be described as an embodiment of tradition, which he readily attributes to one of his mentors, Chinua Achebe.
One of those evenings I went to see him and we spoke, and he saw some of my works, and he said to me, at that very early stage, he said that you have this gift, don't let it go, don't lose it. And then he took one of my poems and published in a small magazine that he edited at that time, Okike. You know, that was the first time I was ever published. You know, I can't find that book, that journal now, but I remember that when I left his office, his humility and his simplicity was so overwhelming that it redefined my attitude to literature.
For Amon Nadi, poetry is life, its being, and its essence.
Alune Fungu, mighty earth which carries the heaviest trees, you are fertile soil in which all seeds germinate, where crop and weed dwell side by side as kin. No hand can hold your hand in a single grip, but man falls, and you hold him in eternal grip. In your embrace, a man becomes a spirit. In your embrace, a man is more than a man.